Cannot see, or has the antidote to brokenness evaded me? Could I believe in what my ears have not heard? Or will the suffering that surrounds me have the final word? Even on the darkest nights I know the sun will rise. I will trust the promise I cannot see with my eyes. Even when the clouds surround, I know the sun still shines. But when will it break through? Jesus, I need you. Touched, or will the weight of disappointment apprehend my trust? Can I believe in what my mind cannot know? Or could the number of the stars contain my fragile hopes? Even on the darkest nights I know the sun will rise. Trust the promise I cannot see with my eyes. Even when the clouds surround, I know the sun still shines. But when will it break through? Jesus, I need you. When will it break through? Jesus, I need you. When will it break through? Jesus, I need you. Jesus, I need you. I'll believe in what my eyes can't see, and I will trust you, Lord. I will trust you, Lord.
Security experts here. His feeling is the same, that it is also a single shot from a high-powered rifle, shot, it would appear, from some distance. And it appears, and I again say appears in that video, that Charlie Kirk is hit directly by that shot. We know he was hit. We know his condition is unknown at the moment. That is all his representatives are saying. But it is a deeply disturbing scene when you watch that video. We now await for word, obviously, on Charlie.
All right, so if you haven't heard, I'm not going to show the video because it's extremely disturbing. I'm sure you'll be able to find it everywhere. So if you haven't heard, Charlie Kirk was doing one of his campus events. It looked like there appears to be, I don't know, 10, maybe 15,000 people at this event. And they're all cheering, they're enjoying it, they're having fun at the event. And somebody shot him. And it looks from, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to play a doctor on television. It doesn't look good. It almost looks like he took a shot in the neck, and it looks like it may have exited the other side of his neck, and if that just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. And my normal opening, as you guys know, I'm talking about Trump and the one man. But this time I just thought, where we are, we need to pray. Pray for Charlie, pray for his family, pray for this country. Things are about to break loose. We've been feeling this for quite some time. And we are this will be something that is going to change how everybody feels about the left, especially the people who decide that they want to dress up like other people. From what I understand, he was speaking about Transformers when the shot rang out. I'll cut back to Fox so we can hear some breaking news on it, but I just don't want them to keep showing over and over the actual shot, because it's absolutely disgusting. And I'm not prepared for this. I mean, you know, I tell you guys a lot, hey, I got my shows together, I put it all together, and I package it, and I'm ready, and I say something happens at the end, it changes everything. Well, I'm just about to click the button to go live. Just about to click it. And SB texts me, did you see what happened to Charlie Kirk? I'm like, no, I'm getting ready to do the show. And I obviously go on X, and it's all there. And I'm thinking to myself, no, this can't be real. I can't be seeing what I'm seeing. I cannot be seeing a man who does nothing but talk well about America, who these loons have gone absolutely crazy. He's not a politician. He doesn't have Secret Service protection. Probably doesn't have many bodyguards. Probably doesn't have armed security. And somebody took it upon themselves to plan this. This couldn't have been something, you know, impulsive. It had to have been planned. They knew the event was coming. They made sure they were stationed far enough away. It almost appears as though it was a sniper shot. And he was like he normally does when he talks to kids. He's in a tent, and he's got his microphone, and he's talking to people. And pop, just like when we watch President Trump. It is almost eerie. He's at his huge event. Huge event. And the shot rings out, and you can hear it as clear as day, because you know what it sounds like, and then boom, you see him go down. I don't know. Only through the grace of God will he probably survive this. Only if the hand of God reaches down and heals him, because with that type of a weapon from that far, this wasn't a handgun. This was a rifle shot that hit him square. I don't know where in the neck, but I did see the exit wound on the other side. So it went right through him. This is crazy. And Jason Chavez was there. Listen to.
Taking questions. I just want to give the full statement. It's a short statement, and I know we're going to hear more from President Trump as we get more information, but this is the full statement. He said, we must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him. And President Trump knows what it's like to be shot at. He was the subject of 2 assassination attempts that were thankfully averted. One obviously hit his ear. And in this case, we're seeing something that looks much more serious, I think is fair to say.
I never want anybody to see somebody murdered on television. They did it again. They tried to do it with Trump, and now there's cameras there, and it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's why I had to cut it. That's why my microphone was off.
That I was up on the balcony. Mm-hmm. I had traded messages with Charlie prior to the event. When he announced he was coming, I was excited, told him we want to come see him. Then I sent him text saying, hey, hope I can see you afterwards. Our family loves Charlie. Wanted to see him again. Look, this is classes are now back in session. Kids can come and go. I would say that it's, if I had to guess, 95% local students. Like I said, it's our state's largest university. There were some members that weren't students that were there, but very few. No security checkpoints. It's a very open campus. It's very much a commuter campus. Come on, Orem, Utah is one of the safest places on the planet. And so we just don't have these types of things. We don't have murders, let alone shootings, let alone something of this magnitude. And like I said, there was a light police presence. I hope, there were some undercover people. Charlie has his own a bit of security. but not to deal with, a couple thousand people that were there to see Charlie. They had microphone challenges because there were so many people, they couldn't get all the volume that they wanted. People are having a hard time hearing. But I think when this story is written, I don't think it was a coincidence that the shot rang out when you get a question about transgender mass shootings. That maybe, hopefully I'm wrong. I'll probably get criticized for jumping to conclusions, but I'm just telling you, in the 30 minutes or so, I thought, wow, I don't think that's a coincidence, but we'll see.
So, Jason.
So no, you almost have to wonder if they knew it. What is SV saying here? There's so much stuff happening here. Yeah. This is crazy. Absolutely nuts where this country has gone. Man, I'm here with at a loss of words, as loquacious and verbose as I can be. This is something that gives you a complete loss of perspective. Just I cannot even fathom that people are doing this. Now, you know what's going to happen. You know eventually there's going to be something. People have pretty much kept themselves under wraps. And we've watched the trampling of conservatism. We've watched them just completely abuse us. We've watched them do their best to try and put this wedge between us. They've been trying to ramp up as much stuff as possible. And now, again, here we go again, another one, obviously one of their nuts, has decided to put up the ante at this point. Look, I don't know where you live, but as today, literally was one of the stories I was going to cover. It is 3:15 now. At about 1 o'clock, the news hit down here in Florida that the Court of Appeals here in the state of Florida overturned a ban on open carry. It is getting ready to turn into the wild, wild west. Like Jason Chavez says, doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what corner of the globe you are, these nuts will travel to go do harm. And one thing I truly believe at this point, this isn't Republican, Democrat. This isn't black and white. As much as they're trying to stoke the racial crap, this is good and evil. This Democrat Party seems to be overtaken in some sort of mass possession. There is nothing, there's nothing there when you open the curtain and look at Democrats at this point and go, yeah, that makes sense. That's some real stuff there that we all could agree on. No, they want to destroy the country. Unfortunately now, this might be a tipping point that we don't recover from. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm saying at this point, if it can happen in Utah, if it can happen at an event with college kids, then it could happen at a football game. It could happen at a baseball game. It could happen at a concert. It could happen in another church. There is no place that we can probably say at this point that we are safe. SV said, he goes, Barry, please be careful. Yeah, I'm going to be careful. I am going to be really careful. That's why we live in a gated community. That's why I decide to make sure there's a guard up there. We understand the world we live in right now is absolutely batshit crazy. Last night, I got an email at about 1 o'clock in the morning. I had my phone next to me for some reason and got the notification, dink, I open it. And some guy sent me an email railing on me. And I get nutty emails all the time. But this one just struck me last night. I said, Robin, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. This guy says, I used to be MAGA. I was following you on YouTube. And now, because of what you said yesterday, not only do I not follow you, but you're an effing A, and this, and then you're a traitor to your race, and I wish you ill, and your white BI wife, and I'm like, all because of what happened in Charlotte, that I didn't take that nut side, that I said that nut that did what he did in Charlotte caused this man to freak out and call me a traitor to my race. And I looked at the email way before this happened, and I went, yeah, we're safe, and everything's fine. And I'm like, people have lost it. I was going to have a long soliloquy, a monologue on it. I'm like, no, I don't need to now. We can see for sure people are flipping nuts. And they've been whisked up into the media. You've done a great job. You've done it. Here you go. Soak it in. You people have maybe possibly got this man killed. Now, we don't know. I don't want to put anything there until something gets announced, if it gets announced. But pray for him. Pray for each other. Man, this wasn't supposed to be a prayer meeting. I just don't know what to say, other than the fact that they've gotten what they've wanted. They wanted a race war. That didn't really work out. But now they've got the good versus evil. Now you've got, if you're not with us, you're against us. Now you've got, if you're not for America, F you. That's where we are right now. And it's weird to me, and I have to sit here, I'm like, as a Christian, we're supposed to reach out. I wish JJ was here. Hey, we're supposed to reach out. We're supposed to be okay and, just keep trying to bring people into the fold. At some point, Jesus, tell me, I don't know. Are we supposed to get righteous? Are we supposed to start turning tables over and go, enough? We've had it. Number one, first and foremost, my job, and you as a head of household or whatever, you need to protect yourself. And it can't be any clearer at this point that the left wants chaos. The left is demonic. Did you see the VMA Awards? Hope you didn't. Did you see what Lady Gaga and some of these people were doing on stage? Hold on, they're about to okay, I was waiting. And hold on, let's grab this.
Everyone's prayers going up right now for Charlie Kirk. I'm joined by senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich, reporting live from the North Lawn. Jackie, welcome. What can you tell us from the White House today?
Yeah, Martha, I just got this from a White House official. I'm told the Situation Room and the National Security Advisor, Marco Rubio, who's also serving as the Secretary of State, are both actively engaged. They're monitoring this situation, and they are in contact with state officials. So you've got the Situation Room here and Rubio looking actively into what is going on, receiving updates, and I've also inquired anything they know about the suspect or his condition. I haven't heard anything on that yet, but I did go up to Upper Press immediately when this news broke to see if anything was coming out on this, and I was told that it had just happened, and everyone was in the Oval Office. I was told we'd have an update soon from the president, and he did put that out. He posted on Truth Social, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him." Now, remember, Charlie Kirk, who leads Turning Point USA, did a lot of work in support of the president's reelection campaign. Turning Point USA obviously engages young voters, conservative voters, and President Trump in this election really turned the tide among that demographic, which is historically an unreliable voting bloc, and turned out young voters. Charlie Kirk played a huge role in that. He was active in support of the president on the campaign trail and is obviously beloved by a lot of people here. We've seen well wishes coming out from everybody from the president to the vice president, the Secretary of War, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, everyone here just awaiting updates on his condition and also looking into actively who perpetrated this. So we'll bring you any other news that we have. But the breaking news from here is that the Situation Room and the National Security Advisor are monitoring this. Martha.
Jackie, thank you very much. The video that you're seeing right now on the right-hand side of your screen is people scattering, which is understandable after this shot rang out. We're told that it was one shot, but of course that is something that could change as we get more information on this too. But you can see the perspective here. I mean, it's just chilling, really. I mean, you watch all these people spreading out, and because we've had so many of these sorts of incidents, and people see school shootings and the like. This feels like something different. This feels like a very targeted attack in this case, but the scattering is what you would expect as people run for shelter and safety in this situation.
All right, see a lot of people coming in who may not have heard at this point. But Charlie Kirk was doing an event at a university in Utah. He was speaking in front of what looks like to be 10, 15,000 kids. They were back on campus. They were, happy this new school year. So he was doing his normal interaction with the crowd. Somebody asked him a question about Transformers, and as he was answering the question, a sniper shot rang out and struck him where it looks to be, again, I'm not going to jump to any conclusion, it looks to be some sort of a head or neck shot. And he immediately went down. And what appears from the direction when I saw the video of him getting shot and how he reacted, it appears as though there was an exit wound as well, so it may have went right through him. As of right now, nobody is coming out with any information as to his condition. So if you're reading right now that he has passed on, I haven't heard that yet, and so I think a lot of people are waiting. And from what I understand, they also now have the shooting suspect in custody as well. So that's the news. I'll keep trying to bring everybody up as we're talking, but this is bad. This is really bad.
Bring in now. This is actually, let's start with this new statement from Utah Valley University. We had a speaker, Charlie Kirk, invited by a student group, Turning Point USA, speaking on campus today at noon. At about 12:20, shots were fired from a building about 200 yards from the speaker. Now, this is new. According to the best of our knowledge, the individual was hit and was taken away immediately by his security personnel. That individual, of course, is Charlie Kirk. Campus is closed for the rest of the day, and our campus police have a suspect in custody. So that is new information. 200 from a building, 200 yards from the shooter is the newest information from the university, and obviously the investigation is just beginning in all of this. Joining me now by phone, Fox News, Fox and Friends weekend co-host Charlie Hurt. He co-hosted the show with Charlie Kirk just a few weeks ago here in New York, and is a friend, someone who knows him well. Charlie, welcome.
Indeed, Martha. I count him as a very, very good friend, and I'm absolutely shocked. And obviously, as you and all of your coverage so far have pointed out, this is just absolutely heartbreaking. And our prayers go out to Charlie and his beautiful family. It was just about an hour ago. Actually, I was on the phone with Jason talking about other things. Jason Chaffetz talking about other things, and he told me that he was there waiting for Charlie Kirk and said there like 2,000 people have gathered on this beautiful day just to hear Charlie Kirk speak. And the description he gave was so beautiful. I asked him to send a picture of it to me, and he took a picture and sent it to me, and I showed it to my wife. We were driving somewhere, and I said, "This is the kind of crowd that Charlie Kirk brings on a college campus." And as Jackie was just pointing out, Charlie is the best of America. Charlie is the kind of guy that likes to talk, likes to engage with people, and engage with people who aren't normally as active in politics as they should be or might be. And he's done it so brilliantly. And he is the best of what we have to offer. And the idea that something like this would happen to him, the reason our country works is because of people like Charlie Kirk. And the only way our country doesn't work is when people resort to violence in order to silence people like Charlie Kirk. And so right now I am praying for Charlie and his beautiful family, and I'm praying for our country too.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about the impact of Turning Point on the last elections. And, we've seen the youth vote young men in particular really migrate over the past 10 years towards President Trump and towards conservatism on American campuses. So talk to us about that, Charlie.
I think a lot of it has.
I will tell you, SV just sent me a close-up video of the impact, and I was right looking at the long range of it, that it did look like it struck him in the neck head area. But in this new video that SV just sent me, which I don't advise you to watch, he profusely bleeds out. If he's alive, if he makes it, it is a marvel of medicine. So you're going to need to pray hard, very hard for him, because this video is just simply, it obviously too graphic to play here, but some people are spreading it around. 200 yards away with a bullet of that kind of caliber would just be. Ashley just said it, because I don't know how he survives that. I mean, like I said, I don't know medicine. I know that there's some very, very good doctors out there, some very proficient doctors. I don't know how far away he was from a hospital. I don't know if there was anybody on site who knew, were EMTs, but this does not look good. I mean, it's one of the, it's almost Kennedy-esque how bad this looks. So if you're just tuning in, I had to stop my show. Of course I'm going to stop my show and cover what isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that the organization that Charlie Kirk runs is called Turning Point? This, my friends, is arguably going to be a turning point. Let's get back to Fox.
Himself, who was more important at helping President Trump reach those people he needed to win re-election. I don't think there was anybody who was more important than Charlie Kirk was, and it was all because he believes in debate and he believes in engaging people in the democratic process, which is what we're all about.
Well said. Charlie, thank you very much. We'll come back to you. Let's bring in Tomi Lahren, who was joining us today on the story. And obviously, Tomi, this is just an absolutely heartbreaking development this afternoon, and we're waiting to learn more about Charlie Kirk's condition. But your thoughts, Tomi, as you watch this unfold?
Well, Martha, I've known Charlie for over a decade. We really kind of started in this business together. And ever since he started TPUSA, I was one of the first people that was a speaker and a friend. And we've done many college campuses together. And I have since done many college campuses as a speaker for Turning Point USA, very similar to what Charlie was doing today. So this is so surreal for me. I'm praying for him. I'm praying for his family. This is just so horrific. And I got to tell you, Martha, there are so many of us conservative speakers who go out and do these events, and we want to talk to people and we want to engage and we want to have dialogue and debate. And it's so difficult to.
While she's talking, another video has come out, not of the incident, but if you didn't actually know that you should be hating the media, that the media, they're just pieces of crap with legs. This video that SV just sent me, I listened to it and I went, you gotta be kidding me. Please tell me this was AI. Please tell me this video I'm gonna show you is fake. Please tell me this. Because, well, you'll hear for yourself. This is absolutely insane.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea. But
you don't know if this was one of his supporters shooting the gun off in celebration. You actually said that on a national television network. These people are evil. They are completely evil. And SV, I'm sorry if you're having to like get people out of here ASAP. The trolls, at this point, everything now is a force field. I don't want to hear it from people in the chat. I don't want to hear people on Twitter. Ban, delete. We are at a point right now where we are in really big trouble because the reaction here is first going to be pray. Everybody is going to pray, and hopefully God can intervene. Doesn't look good at all, but hopefully God can intervene. Then, if doesn't matter whether he pulls through or not, the repercussions of this are going to be massive. At this point, every single person out there has to realize Trump needs to do whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do, stop this insanity. This country will not survive these people.
For being with us. We're all obviously praying for Charlie and praying for his family as we cover this story. Tommy, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker has spoken to a witness, and she joins us now. Nicole, obviously you have a deep understanding as a former FBI agent of what is unfolding as we speak, as this investigation gets underway. Tell us what you know.
All right, so Martha, first of all, everyone needs to pray. That is all we have right now. We have the power of prayer. I'm just going to tell you exactly what this witness told me. I have his permission to share this information, so I'm just literally going to read my notes. He was very close by when it occurred. He is a sophomore at Utah Valley University, the witness. He thought that there were around 300 to 500 people. It filled up the entire courtyard. He saw one shot go through Charlie Kirk's throat. He saw the shot go through, and the witness fell to the ground. He was there with two of his friends. It was outside under a tent area, and Charlie Kirk was sitting in a chair, and it was a single pop. He described it as a single pop. And he dropped over immediately. As I'm sure that everyone is seeing, there's a video out on social media. It is absolutely horrifying, and I do not recommend people to see that, but that is going to be key for law enforcement to have all of that video as evidence. He was about 20 to 30 feet away. The event was from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Charlie started speaking at around 12 p.m. This is Mountain Standard Time. And it was about, a few minutes into it. He said it was about an hour into, what he was witnessing, and it was a question and answer. And again, we've heard, but someone asked about the school shootings, and they asked how many school shootings have been committed by those of transgender, LGBTQ, in approximately the last 10 years. And then the next thing you know, the witness heard a gunshot. This witness said that you could not see where the shooter was, and that they are very, very shaken up by this right now.
Nicole,
Obviously,
we
need a miracle.
Nicole, I don't know if you can hear me, but
Yes.
just stay with us. There is a witness speaking live right now. Let's watch.
It's going to impact, I think, on a broader scale. Do you think it's going to kind of cause an uproar or anything?
Well, from what I'm hearing, if it's true, the guy who got shot, he was a pretty big influence in whatever was going, like their agenda, right? So I don't know. I hope it all gets figured out, and I really don't want this to happen again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. From what I heard, it was a sniper from a long ways away. So I don't know. I think the focus of this should probably be on probably some sort of gun control or something like that, so that things like this can't happen again.
Oh, shut up!
Thank you guys so much for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Getting live reaction from people who were witnesses in Orem, Utah, at Utah Valley University, as Charlie Kirk was doing a Prove Me Wrong event on campus on a beautiful day at the university. Jason Chaffetz is back with us again, and he was there a short distance, really, away from the speaker. And we're looking, I'm not sure, this is live from KUTV on the screen here. I'm not sure what building this is that we're seeing. I don't know if Jason can see the building that we're looking at right now, but go ahead, Jason.
I think that's off campus. I don't know that that's, it's not a familiar part of it. The campus is largely cement and green.
I'm hearing it's regional hospital, Jason. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, yeah. See, now that it's zooming out, now this is Timpanogos Regional Hospital, which is Orem, which is probably a little bit closer to Utah Valley University. That would make sense. In terms of proximity, that's the closest. It's not the level 1 trauma. Somebody said it was level 2, but level 1 trauma at Utah Valley. But nevertheless, if time is of the essence and you got to be somewhere fast, that's the one you're going to go to.
Mm-hmm. So we also have this information coming from the campus authorities, Jason, which, according to their early take on this, they're saying it was from a building about 200. I want to get this right. 200 yards from the speaker, to the best of our knowledge. It says it happened at 12:20, which you of course know. But your thoughts on that, if indeed that turns out to be accurate?
Look, who am I to suggest that the authorities may have gotten it wrong? That may be a little bit preliminary. I was in one of those buildings. Those windows, a lot of those windows don't even open. I don't know. Charlie was sitting under an awning. This is sunken down. So if you're sitting where Charlie is, it graduates up. Now, are there angles where buildings are available and to a would-be assassin? The answer, unfortunately, is yes. I can tell you just sitting there, and again, maybe it's the emotion of it and not looking or expecting it, it seemed like the shot was closer and that it was more direct. But I just, where he got shot and finding the perpetrator, I just feel for his family, his wife, and I just can't even imagine.
Do you know if she was there today, Jason?
I didn't see her. I didn't see her. It doesn't mean that she wasn't there. Right. But like I said, my plan with Charlie was to try to get together with him afterwards. So I don't know.
Let's not jump to conclusions because you've seen something on X or otherwise. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's a lot of people watching who don't know where you're getting your information from. That's why I'm showing this feed. I'm sure there will be a press conference. People are crazy. People are crazy. Let's just see what happens. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions. I am not going to make a statement until we have definitive information. That would be stupid to do so. And people posting this kind of stuff on X, unless they've heard it specifically from somebody in authority, I'm not going there because I'm not giving up hope. I'm not going to be one of those who are just going to put stuff out there to be first and get a whole lot of clicks and stuff. No, not at all. Not going to do that. Oops.
Gift.
Oh, he's one of a kind. I mean, I really thought that years from now we'd be saying, yeah, President Charlie Kirk, because for a generation, nobody speaks to them like he does. He has built a coalition, and it's based on policy and argument, and it's based on a belief and challenging people. And he was stimulating a younger generation who wasn't getting it in the classroom. He was getting it online, and he was getting it going on television and doing on-campus things. I've been to a couple of his on-campus, and he literally will sit there and answer questions from anybody and challenge them and not always agree with them and take sometimes a controversial position. But that's what he believed in America. And there is nobody in senior Republican politics that didn't admire and interact with Charlie Kirk. He is a political force that transformed the last couple of elections, and moving forward, incredibly influential because he won the argument, and that's what we hadn't seen in a generation.
Let's put up this new post by the Vice President, J.D. Vance, tweeting out this photo moments ago with the caption, "Dear God, protect Charlie in his darkest hour." This is obviously a photograph of Charlie and Donald Trump Jr. and Vice President J.D. Vance. I'm not sure who the individual is in between them, but we will find out. And, he has that huge smile on his face. He's a happy, happy warrior, Jason, and always has been. Yeah. And I think that's part of his appeal. And as you were saying, he helped, I think, younger people. He's helping younger people through Turning Point and through his podcast that is also very successful right now. He interviewed Gavin Newsom. He's trying to bring on...
I've got a video I want to show you. This is what I'm trying to say. Pump the brakes. Let's see what the announcement is. Let's find out where things are. This is from Glenn Beck a little while ago.
I was just about to record my show for tonight when I looked through the glass of my studio. My wife was standing there, and her face spoke volumes to me, and I said, "Stop, let's wait. I need to talk to my wife." My wife was on her phone with my daughter and my son, who were at a Charlie Kirk event today. And I have just received news that I'm not even going to repeat because I don't have it. Confirmed. We will confirm what's going on. And when we have solid information, we will bring it to you. And we will be live tonight at 9 with all of the information that you need to know. Please pray for my dear friend, Charlie, and his family, and our republic. Lord, we have been so arrogant as a people. We have been so distracted, but we would ask, Lord, that you would watch over Charlie and all those involved. That you would soften our hearts, that we might find forgiveness. Strength and courage. God, only you can save our republic. In the name of Jesus, we pray. We'll have more tonight at 9.
I didn't have this discussion back and forth. That's when the shot rang out. And that's why we're sitting here now talking about it.
And that was at 12:20 Utah time. We're watching these images as people scattered from that place. Obviously very frightening for everybody there. Jason, stay with us. Thank you very much for being here. I know it's been a very emotional day for you and for your family. Joining me now by phone is Chris Swecker, former FBI Assistant Director. We have spoken with Chris on many similar occasions during shootings and the beginnings of investigations. And Chris, welcome. We know the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has said that the FBI agents are en route to this scene. Give us your reaction to what we're covering here today.
Yeah, I've been listening to the coverage with great interest. And, of course, you know, Charlie is an iconic personality and an iconic figure in conservative circles, and beyond that, even as you mentioned, he wants to hear from everybody. My mind goes immediately to the fact that this, because of who he is and where he was, this feels like political violence to me. And it's no consolation to his family or his friends or anyone else for that matter. But it does matter in the sense that, when it's political violence, it's terrorism. And terrorism is a unique type of crime, if you will. It's trying to intimidate the public or a certain group of people into seeing their point of view or making some sort of political change. So, the FBI is going to come in fast and hard on this one, and they're going to work it like it's political violence or terrorism until we see facts otherwise. Mm-hmm. So you'll see them on the scene very quickly and very prominent.
Do you have a sense, Chris? We have Jason Chaffetz, who was on the scene and understands the terrain of this area. It's sort of an amphitheater setup, and the tent was at the base of it, and then the ground goes upward, as you can kind of see in this image. There are some balconies from around the outside, which I've seen people walking on. You can see one of them to the right there. That is part of this. This is moments before this happened. This is Charlie Kirk's own video from Turning Point that has been sent out.
So I just showed you a second ago a video by Glenn Beck, and Glenn Beck is friends with Charlie Kirk, so he obviously has some contacts with the family and people around Charlie. He posted this at 3:29, literally, a few minutes ago. He posted, "Pray for healing and a miracle. I'm getting word that Charlie has been stabilized. I pray it is true," which means he hasn't confirmed it as well. If it is, that is a second miracle. Trump 1 to Kirk. The hospital is taking blood now. So that video that some people were saying AI may indeed have been real, where we saw the bullet enter and then exit and then the blood just gush. So they're probably trying to transfuse that and get enough in it. Our God is a God of miracles. In Jesus' name we pray. Absolutely. So as of right now, which can change imminently, it appears that Charlie has been stabilized, if what Glenn Beck is saying, if he has confirmed whether this is true or not.
So he said, we don't. There wasn't really much security, at least as far as he could see. Yeah, I mean
that's what we deal with in the academic environment. They don't want to see a lot of security at events like this because they feel like it inhibits the dialogue and the atmosphere. And I like to advocate for security, visible security as a deterrent. But much of your security you may want to keep out of sight in this type of setting. But this again, I don't know what the circumstances are here and what the security setup was. But at least the photos that I've seen and the layout that I've seen on the news reports, I don't see any security at all, which is kind of unusual. I mean, I'm sure there is some somewhere, but it doesn't look like there was a whole lot of visible security, which is to me is a deterrent. We're seeing so much of this that you have to really overplan events like this and then hope that things go better than what you planned for.
I know we talked to Tomi Lahren earlier, and she was saying that at certain college events that she does, and she's done many of these alongside Charlie Kirk over the years, as they were coming up in this, conservative speaker industry, for lack of a better word, over the last couple of decades, that there was security on a lot of campuses. But it seems that, at this one, perhaps they felt it wasn't necessary. And on the left-hand side of your screen is one of these debates, the Prove Me Wrong.
I have just seen a video of the police taking the guy into coverage. Another thing can't show here because obviously you don't know, so I can't say it's him because I'm not there. They could have been just taking anybody into custody, but it appears that the guy that they're taking into custody is a 55-ish, 65-ish year old white man, balding. So you guys can probably see that. Eric Doherty posted it with the police taking him into custody, which wouldn't surprise me given, who some of these people are that go to these protests. I've been to one here in Boca, and I did videos on it, and it's all crazy old hippies. It's insane, absolutely insane.
Much like, and there's almost a presumption that this is an act of domestic terrorism. We can always back off from that if we need to,
right.
But that's where they're going to start from, and they're going to start with that unified command post.
Yeah. I'm looking at this video. If we can take this full, you can just see there's a lot of balconies really all around this property, this campus quad, a lot of open balconies. So we're going to continue to get more information. Chris Becker, thank you, as always. It's good to have you with us. I'm sorry it's on this news. So let's check back in with senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich, who has told us that they are convening in the Situation Room to get the very latest on this. Jackie.
Yeah, Martha, no updates from here just yet. I've been texting with officials. I went up to Upper Press again to see if anyone was in their offices or had anything new for us. The doors are all closed up there. There were just some press aides saying, we'll keep you posted. There's a lot of concern written on their faces. And Charlie Kirk is someone who is, endeared to all of them as a conservative, as a person who was engaging Gen Z voters, and they were all visibly horrified to learn the news of his condition. I was told earlier this afternoon, just a short time ago in your hour, Martha, that the National Security Advisor, Marco Rubio, who also serves as Secretary of State, as well as the Situation Room, were monitoring and also looking at...
Jackie, 1 second, thank you. Apologize. Let's go to this witness on the scene.
A little bit backstage, and I turn and look, and they were arresting a guy by the name of George Zim. Yeah, I know the guy. I don't think he did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharpshooter. It was one shot right directly.
Why do they keep putting these nuts on? Screen the people you're going to put on. If they just put somebody's name out there, they have no idea who this person is. This guy just out there screaming, blah, 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 blah. Pump your brakes, media. Get the actual facts. This guy's a screaming, who knows what he knows. Man, they put this stuff on. Let me show you this from Nick Sorter. It says, breaking, Charlie Kirk is reportedly, quote, stabilizing, but in critical condition after being shot at Utah Valley University. TPUSA sources confirmed to me. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, stabilizing, but maybe they've put enough blood back in him and they got the... I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but pray. Keep praying.
At this hour, and as I say, very, very early moments here of covering this. Jason, back to you as you've had a few more minutes to think over your really traumatic experiences today as you were at the scene.
Yeah, I think at this hour, I'm looking at my clock here, and it's barely been an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Maybe, yeah.
I think this video, some of the videos and shots that are coming off on social media, jump into conclusions. Please don't do that. You're going to disparage people, and the shooter will come out. We'll there's too many cameras rolling, too many people there. Mm-hmm. But there's some people that the police may have, hey, let's detain this person real quick, that probably had and maybe have nothing to do with it. So just be careful. I think that energy is probably better spent in prayer and for Charlie and his family.
We're looking at some of these beautiful images of Charlie and his young family, little boy, little girl, and his lovely wife, Erica, married just a few years, and we're beautiful picture of them on the beach. Mrs. Erica Kirk is the handle on that social media account. Jason, stay with us. I know you're going to be with us throughout the course of this story. And joining me now on the phone is retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow. He is also an attorney and a Fox News contributor, and as a former police inspector, spent many times as the first person on the scene in very difficult shooting situations. Paul, thank you for being with us as we cover this really just tragic afternoon and the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Turning Point CEO and longtime conservative activist, even at his young age of 31. Your thoughts, Paul?
Well, I apologize for the background noise. I just landed here in West Palm Beach to cover for Fox the Ryan Ruth trial And, the irony of that has to come home to all of us, because that was the second or third potential attempt on the life of Donald Trump, more political violence. And now we have this. I can tell you, as part of the investigation, the first thing, of course, is just to do everything you can for the victim. We hope that there was an evacuation plan set up, that there was a way to get him out of there rapidly so that you can get him to the nearest trauma center. So that's the first thing that I'm thinking. But then after that, reportedly there is somebody that is in custody. I've got some sourcing on it. I hesitate to say more because right now, as we've learned so many times, Martha, of the first 100 reports, 99 are wrong. But the person that is in custody, you have to start to look at him and go backwards from there and make sure he's not part of something else. And you also have to recognize that this is going to be part of a prosecution, and so you have to proceed that way. So this has to be considered. There'll be a command post set up. They're going to be pulling video. They're going to be doing all the stuff that we talk about all the time. But in a crowd situation, which is what we had here, that was very, very difficult. And, what can you say? It's just another event like this that brings home.
All right, so I have another cut from MSNBC. I cannot believe these people are talking like this. Listen to this one. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we're showing, by the way, our affiliate in Utah and the aftermath of the shooting. You could see people running away pretty quickly, as you would imagine they would do at gunshots. The FBI director, Kash Patel, has weighed in on this. He just tweeted the following: "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and the investigation." Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast. He opines on almost everything. He's been very closely aligned with the president since his initial run for office in 2015, 2016. And his ties to Trump really elevated his own brand. He was really quite young as an activist when the president launched his initial campaign. And he has kind of ridden along with MAGA since 2016 and built up a massive, massive brand of his own. His group has brought in tons and tons of money.
I don't know what you need. I've been telling you guys for quite some time. It's clear we are in a civil war. Now, when I would say that, I would say to you, we're in a civil war, but, it's not the kind that you may be thinking of. Now you can realize this is the kind we're used to. Elon Musk posted this, which is dead on, no pun intended. The left is the party of murder. The left lectured us, Sean McGuire said, for the last decade about the dangers of violence from the right, and now all they do is one after the other. It just keeps happening. Then there was another person on MSNBC who said this idiocy.
Then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
Turning Point USA has confirmed that he was shot.
You got to expect it, is what they're saying. It's Charlie Kirk's fault, not the person who did it. You got to expect it's divisiveness. You're causing this by not doing what the Democrats and the liberal media want. It's your fault. There's no coming back from this. It truly is Turning Point.
And prayer. And so we are going to do that right now. We're going to pause and offer our prayer. We hope you join along. However, and to whomever you pray, I hope in this moment that you can pray for Charlie Kirk. President Trump is among those speaking out, writing on X, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot, a great guy from top to bottom. God bless him." We're going to take you now to the scene. It's total and utter chaos. People running and screaming. Utah Valley University, that was hosting the event, releasing the following statement. At about 12:20, shots were fired from a building about 200 yards from the speaker to the
So we've seen that already. James Woods, the actor, put this out. This is what they hate. And it doesn't have to be a blonde woman and two white people with white kids. You could put two black people there who have a family. You can put two Hispanics there. You can put two Asians there. They don't like the nuclear conservative aspect of life. They think that part of life is wrong. You should be able to, not only should, you're encouraged to get rid of your babies. You're not supposed to have a nuclear family. That's what they tried to destroy today. And hopefully, with God willing, it's not going to happen. It's just amazing. Megyn Kelly, I mean, it's everybody. This was put up by Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture. Keep praying, hearing he is in critical condition, but still with us. So we're getting more confirmation that he still is alive, but he's holding on. Excuse me. Then I saw this by Sean McGuire, which is what I've said to you. We're not supposed to say this. But the truth is, like I've been telling you, and I think now a lot of people finally it's sinking in, we're at war. This is a no holds war here. There is no meeting in the middle. So now it's time for people to do what you need to do to number one, get right with God. Number two, understand you're fighting forces of evil. And come together and realize at this point, like when they all say my brother, my sister, and they talk about black people. No, we're all a band of brothers and band of sisters at this point. We are all at risk, wearing that red hat and walking around. You may just be walking with, like the lady on the train. And what was, you realize what's the irony of that woman on the train? She was a Black Lives Matter supporter. They're not looking behind the veil. If you fit that box, it seems like there's somebody out there that wants to take you out. Little did they know she was on their side at one point. Be careful. Be extremely careful.
And people that are engaged in transgender. And as that dialogue started, one shot, I was watching Charlie. In this video that you're seeing, I'm kind of off to Charlie's right, up on that second balcony. And I could see Charlie immediately fall back into his left. And the crowd hit the ground and started screaming, and then people started running. My focus turned to my family and making sure they're okay. But it was obvious that Charlie wasn't. And the crowd scattered. And now we're in prayer, praying that some miracle will happen and that Charlie and his family somehow, some way will be okay.
Yeah, we share in those prayers, Jason. From your vantage point,
I've got a piece from Megyn Kelly. Sounds like it may be problematic at the end. Let's listen to this.
His children, his two young children. Pray for his family. Pray for his pray. We can pray, God, that he survived this. Pray for his family. Pray for his children, his two young children, and ask ourselves what our country is coming to. How does this happen? How does somebody whose only job is to comment on political matters wind up a target for an assassin? This is the United States of America. We have commentators. We have provocative commentators. This is what we've been doing since the dawn of time.
There is so much coming out. I mean, thank you to SV and Ashley who are pushing this stuff over to me so I can get it out in front of you guys, because there's just so much. This one came out. This is from Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has posted, "I've been told Charlie Kirk is alive. Continue praying for Charlie. America saw a miracle after Trump was shot because we as a nation were praying and covering of protection over him before he was shot in Butler. America needs to see another miracle from all of us praying for Charlie after what looks unsurvivable." That video is just incredible. America needs to believe in God. I believe in miracles because I believe in Jesus, the Son of God. In the name of Jesus, please save Charlie Kirk. Man, there's so much going on, and what's happening, as you're seeing, as we're posting this stuff in real time for you guys to see from certain people, this is it. This is a turning point. I've never seen, even when happened with President Trump, I guess because we knew so fast, when he jumped up and said fight, 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 we knew he was going to survive. But I haven't seen this much outpouring of prayer, where people are openly just blanketing X in real time. Pray, 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 pray. All the people on the left that say we're tired of your thoughts and prayers. No, bring them. Bring your prayers. Keep them coming. And when you're praying, of course you're going to be praying for Charlie Kirk. But as Megyn Kelly has said, and what Glenn Beck has said, now I'm going to tell you again, pray for this nation. We need to find out that there are two things that can survive this. We need to find out that Charlie Kirk can survive a horrific attack, and we need to know that America can survive what's been going on lately. Because now it's going to ramp up. It's inevitable. Now you have to realize they're just out there just going nuts, and the Democrats and the media are okay with it.
I am as well, Jason. It is, sad and poetic illustration that Charlie's standing under an awning that reads, "Prove me wrong," taking on all comers who wants to have a dialogue with him, as he's done on college campus after college campus in front of thousands. And the only rebuttal that someone seems to be able to muster is a gunshot. Jason, I know it's been a tough day, and it will continue to be perhaps for many of us. And we thank you for all the time that you're giving to us and sharing your experience there in Utah.
If you follow libs of TikTok, you may want to just open up your phone and look at what her most recent post is. There are a whole bunch of videos of people on TikTok celebrating. And when you look at these people, understand these are people who are possessed. I'm looking at their faces, and I'm sure some of them are doing it for clicks and likes and everything else because they want to get in the algorithm. Because right now the algorithm is pushing out anything associated with Charlie Kirk, and some of these people are algorithm. They're like whores. They just want to get the likes, the clicks. And so they'll whore themselves out and make these stupid videos. But the fact that some of them are putting it out there means they actually mean it.
It was closer than that. Some of the buildings, which are 2 or 3 stories high, surrounding the area around a sort of amphitheater there, and the tent on one side of that amphitheater looked to be more like 50 to 100 yards away, but those details will come out. We all have also seen video of someone apparently on the campus being arrested. We do not know, obviously, at that point, if the video that we have seen is the shooter. I can tell you that the person who was being led away by police was an elderly gentleman, looked to me to be in his 60s. Again, we have no idea at this point, no official confirmation that that is indeed the alleged shooter. But clearly, Charlie Kirk was hit directly by that single shot. And we're now getting a lot of reaction on X from politicians on both sides of the aisle. From Senate Majority Leader John Thune, for instance, quote, "There is no place in our country for political violence, period. Full stop. Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk." From House Speaker Johnson, "Please join us in praying for our good friend, Charlie Kirk." From Steve Scalise, "Please join me in praying for Charlie Kirk after this senseless act." DNC Chair Ken Martin writes, I'm horrified by the news coming out of Utah about the attack on Charlie Kirk. Political violence has no place in our country, not now and not ever. Praying for him and his family. Here in California, Governor Gavin Newsom saying, quote, the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence in every form. And from former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, quote, the horrific shooting today at Utah Valley University is reprehensible. Political violence has absolutely no place in our nation. All Americans should pray for Charlie Kirk's recovery and hold the entire UVU community in our hearts as they endure the trauma of this gun violence. And from former Vice President Kamala Harris, quote, I am deeply disturbed by the shooting in Utah. Doug and I send our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family. Let me be clear, political violence has no place in America. I condemn this act, and we all must work together to ensure this does not lead to more violence. Also speaking out, Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, whose wife Gabby Giffords was shot at a political event in 2011. Listen here.
I mean, it's just another horrible act of political violence that has no place in our country. I mean, it's just kind of a loss of words. It is, a horrendous thing to see, and it happens all too often. I'm thinking about him and his, family and.
Well, just got to tell you, my little breaking news thing didn't work there. But there now has also been reported a shooting at a high school in Colorado. A shooting at a high school in Colorado. Evergreen High School has now reported that, let me see how many. Initial reports are that at least 2 students have been wounded. They have an active shooter situation going on right now. Victims have been taken to the hospital. So in addition to everything else, we got that going on.
Everyone has invoked him as a friend. I heard Sandra Smith and John Roberts talk earlier today about their friendship with Charlie Kirk. I as well have a friendship with Charlie Kirk. That doesn't make any one of us unique. It actually makes Charlie unique. In a game and in a business where there is so much selfishness and so much self-focus and zero-sum game and competition, Charlie Kirk is a giving and willing friend who will send you a message praising your work, who's always there to support. And Charlie Kirk, knowing the threats that follow him, bravely continued to go out there every day and take on anyone who might disagree, to engage. That's why you'll see all over the place today prayers for Charlie Kirk. All right, let's bring in Joey Gallegos, who is a sophomore at Utah Valley University and was on the scene today. Joey, thank you for being with us here today. I take it you were in the crowd, some thousands there at the university. Yeah. Please share with us your experience.
So I was right there up at the barricade, and I was like 15, maybe 10 feet away from Charlie. And I remember the debater who was debating asked him about transgender gun violence or something, and then and that's when I heard I was reporting it, and then I heard the loud bang, which I can only imagine was a gunshot because everyone immediately dropped to the floor. And then it was just chaos. Like, everyone was screaming, everyone was trying to get over each other, get over the barricade to get out of the courtyard. It didn't really register to me that what happened until I was a little bit out of it, and that's when the fear really struck. And I just called up my loved ones, just bawling, making sure, because I was alive. But yeah, it was not very fun.
Joey, I think that I heard you say you were something like only 15 feet away from Charlie. Were you able, because I think everybody watching is hoping, praying, and seeking information on the condition of Charlie, were you able to see him after this horrible shooting?
So I was reporting, and I dropped to look at my phone to stop it, and that's when the gun went off. But I do remember, as I was trying to run away, like, I think he was on the floor, like, but I rewatched the video that I had took, and you could see him, like, jump back and then fall off. So I really hope he's okay. But from the looks of it, I don't know.
Joey, I have 2 boys, both teenagers. They often say to me, "Do you know Charlie Kirk?" And I say, "Yes, I'm friends with Charlie Kirk." A lot of young people, when I meet them, last weekend, I was at a college campus at Ohio State, and they asked me, "Do I know Charlie Kirk?" What is it about Charlie Kirk that brought you and so many out today in Utah?
Well, I just remember, I remember watching him like about a year ago, and he was just really, really inspiring, you know, just to the youth of our country, and just all of his ethics, his morale, it was everything. It was life-changing for me, honestly. Like, I became a Republican because of Charlie. Everything he said just made sense, and it just clicked in my head. And I was so excited to go out today and just like see him in action. You know, like, he's a really nice, respectful guy. You know, like all he's doing is debating and like just your disagreements, and so I really don't know what would bring anyone to do that to him.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the event today and the crowd? Was it mostly young people like yourself? Was it mostly students? Was it mostly people excited to see Charlie?
Yeah, so I had gotten there around like 11 because I just got out of class, but there was people there before 11, like 9, 10, like just camping out just to see him. Even some people in my class were gonna go, and there was just tons of crowds. So it was just a bunch of students, you know, who were just really excited to like listen to a guy who has like-minded beliefs and stuff. And yeah, it was pretty big. There was a lot of people there.
All right. Well, Joey, I know it's been a difficult day. We thank you for sharing some of what your experiences was today with us. And again, I know you join us in our prayers for Charlie.
There is a video of the alleged shooter being dragged away by the police. Oh, wait a second. What's she got here?
Yeah, well, we were told less than an hour ago that the Situation Room and the National Security Advisor, Marco Rubio, who's also the Secretary of State, were actively monitoring this, engaging with state officials to try to learn the latest about Charlie's condition and also any information on who committed this horrible act. Since then, I have gotten no answers to any of the texts and calls and emails I've sent. A lot of closed doors in the upper press area, and I'm told people are basically just huddling in the Oval Office and closely monitoring what's going on. Obviously, the Situation Room's also engaged. A lot of concern was just written on their faces. Most of the people in the press area are, press office rather, that work for this administration are young people themselves. But from the president on down, so much admiration for Charlie Kirk. He was obviously a strong supporter of the president, animated a youth vote that we hadn't seen really come out reliably in past elections, and really made a difference for President Trump, and just a speaker who engaged people in such a unique way. Just a lot of shock and concern on the faces of the officials here that I spoke with. And since that update that they were monitoring and searching for information on what's going on, I haven't gotten anything new. There are a lot of conflicting reports circulating on the internet about the suspect and also his condition. I can say that the school said that they had somebody in custody. We are not ready to say if that person is the shooter or if there are potentially other people that are still being looked for. One law enforcement source told me that they could not confirm that the person that was in the school's custody was in fact the perpetrator. So just quickly developing a situation here, awaiting any more news from officials. The president shared his concern, called for prayers, as did the vice president, the secretary of war, so many officials from the top on down. And outside the White House, I don't see any change in security posture just yet, but we have asked if Secret Service is on high alert as a result of this apparent act of political violence. So just awaiting anything new that we can share with you, Will.
Jackie, we've seen the social media post today from the vice president, from the secretary of war. You know as well as I do that Charlie was not just influential with students and young people, but he was influential with the White House. And he was on a personal level friends with many of the men that we were just discussing. I know for a fact his friendship with many of those now world leaders. What, if you've had any chance to connect with them today, what have you gathered? What is their mindset and the climate inside the White House?
just horror that this could happen to somebody who is so close to them. This administration, I think, has taken sort of a new approach of integrating different types of media. And Charlie certainly fits in that category as somebody who is very active online and who brought the political conversation to sort of a demographic that might not otherwise see it in print or on television. They are sort of forward-leaning and trying to engage audiences in different places. And Charlie goes to the schools where kids, voters, young voters are. That was where this happened today. So seeing that come full circle, just a lot of concern written all over their faces when I went up there. But now, the last time I went up, doors are closed, and as I'm told, they are huddling in the Oval Office, and also there are some officials in the Situation Room actively watching what's going on. So it is sort of a wait and see here. But the last update was just a lot of worry.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, understandable. Thank you for that report, Jackie.
Thanks.
All right, meanwhile, back here, we have another piece of video we want to share with you from a witness moments ago, witness to the shooting today in Utah. Let's watch.
So I really agree with Charlie on a lot of things politically. So the only thing I didn't agree with him on was the concept of religion. And so that was the first question I asked him, was that Mormonism was more historically correct than Protestantism in regards to theology. And we had a nice conversation back and forth. We disagreed, of course, and then we kind of just ended it at that with the historical evidences. He tried to hold to the Bible a lot more in regards to archaeological evidences, which is not really what I was asking. But after I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that. But nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw because everyone was squirming.
See anybody fire a shot?
I didn't see anyone fire a shot. I think it had to come from an elevated position for sure. And I think it had to have been a long rifle based off of how, so Charlie was like 10 yards in front of me from where my microphone was. So even if you have a pistol, if someone was talking about a pistol and all this stuff and shooting, it's hard to just hit an accurate shot with a pistol from 20 yards away. So it sounded like a .22 rifle, to me, my perspective, but it had to have come from an elevated position. It couldn't have been anyone else. Someone would have saw someone pull out a gun, and the person that confessed didn't have anything on them. So they're still looking for the shooter right now, is what a firefighter just told me like about 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
There are horrific details there from that.
Interesting. Isn't that what the other guy said? It wasn't the right guy. Who knows what's going on? That's why people stop trying to get the word out and say this person said this or that person said that. We don't know at this point. But what I do know, what I 100% can confirm, is that MSNBC is a steaming pile of dinosaur excrement. Is the nicest way I can say it. But I want you to listen to this. I want you to see this and listen to this. And as you're listening to it and watching, watch the person who's talking, the host, and tell me if you think she's not even comfortable saying the words that she's saying. Almost as if someone's telling her, say this. It is so, this is sick.
Because as we were just talking about a moment ago with Alan, after one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
I must admit I'm at a loss to guess as to what happens next, but
unbelievable. These people are beyond help. John Solomon, well, no, I'm not going to say it because I'm not even going to put it out there. Not even going to put it out there until we can confirm something. But there's rumors everywhere. Please stop. But as you watch that woman talk, you could see it didn't seem like she felt comfortable saying it. Very weird.
I know we want to focus on, I'm sorry, Will, I know we focus on what a great individual Charlie is, and he is. The whole thing is just so hard. I just can't believe the guy's an unstoppable force. He's a dynamo, and I'm just praying for him with every fiber of my being because he's a father, he's a husband, he's a great friend, he's a great been a great mentor to so many young people in particular all over the country. Built an incredible international organization, helped deliver this amazing win to Donald Trump in the last election. He's just a critical figure for our time right now, and I'm just, with every fiber of my being, I'm sitting here just hoping Charlie's going to be okay. I just can't believe this is where we are, and Will, I know you and I just feel like any moment now we're just hoping we get good news.
Buck, you don't have to apologize for being a human being and how you feel today. It's a complicated mix of emotions that are both personal and also terrifying for our country and where this leads America. I'm simultaneously sad, like you, Buck, and I'm also very angry. And I'm sitting here today trying to do my best to make this something that everyone understands on an objective level, a rational level in America. On that note, Jonathan, I'd love to turn to you. Right before...
Now, before he goes, we hear that from that guy, just more evidence, in case you haven't been confirmed yet, that we're in a war. Libs of TikTok just posted this. 2 Democrat Michigan reps refused to join the other legislators in prayers for Charlie Kirk. So the Michigan legislative group, their Congress per se, decided to take a moment in prayer. And they all began praying. And these 2 here, they didn't stand up. They didn't stand up, didn't care. Didn't care. Evil runs amok in the Democrat Party.
Charlie Kirk knew his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and that puts me at ease about Charlie. I hope that's not the case, but that is an uplifting thing, and for everybody to put them at a little bit of ease as far as the outcome of this. But I will tell you this, I put on my work face now, and my work face tells me that that witnesses are only partially good at this point because of the violence that was just shown there and the trauma that they're experiencing. So we have to take what the witnesses say with a grain of salt. This could have been a distance shooting. There was plenty of elevation for a shooter to get up to. And I know that law enforcement that's coming in there, I don't know about this campus security. I don't know how good they are, if they're police. But as law enforcement comes in there, I would hope that they don't just sit on this one individual and they say that, okay, that's the shooter, and they stop right there. So they still need to be treating it as an active shooter, which is probably why they have considered the campus on lockdown, so that they can continue to look for other people. There will be reports come in that will say that there was more than one shooter, because that's what witnesses see. They think they see somebody that does something that and they turned around or they made a movement, and so they will assume that that was a shooter as well. So, but they'll have to look at all of those things. I will say, so my company does threat assessments. We have different entertainment tours that we travel all over the world with, and we do threat assessments on a daily basis. And venues, we do our own threat assessment, and then we coordinate those with the venues and law enforcement when possible. And college campuses are notoriously bad for having little to no security, and they don't want to participate. And so this is something that's an issue. And for an outdoor event like this, it is a very dangerous circumstance for people who are influencers and who speak out and can sometimes anger the left. This is not presidential security. So Charlie had his security detail, but there's only so much they can do to secure the college because they're not authorities. So I think it could have been close up. It could have been far away. Both of those are possibilities at this point in time, but it was a shot that was, I think, going to be heard round the world, regardless of whether Charlie lives or he passes. This is something that's going to affect the future of this nation.
To the point of security detail, Jonathan, Buck, Maureen, anyone that knows Charlie knows he also does travel with a security detail. Of course, that detail would not be of the size or ability to manage a crowd of 2,000s, but for security threats closer to Charlie. The point of me sharing that information is to say that Charlie knew there were potentially threats on his life, and he continued bravely to go out there. And
I've got a video by Steven Crowder that I'd like to play for you guys.
Hey, we don't know any more than you do right now. We're watching CNN. Everyone here I know has been praying for Charlie Kirk, the Kirk family, the state of our country, obviously. And right away, they're already spinning stuff on CNN. Like I said, we don't have all the information yet, but I do know what they're saying is wrong. They're saying this is something now that, just heard them say, this plagues both sides. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't plague both sides. One side has to risk their life and limb to express opinions, and the other acts with complete impunity. I can't tell you how many times I've been in that situation and been called a Nazi, and Charlie Kirk. All of us have. We've all been called Nazis, fascists, and just like President Trump being shot, my God, some people out there believe it. And why is Charlie Kirk a Nazi? Why is he a Nazi? He's one of those Israel supporting Nazis, apparently. Why is he any more of a Nazi than you or the next guy? Because he supports lower taxes? Because he thinks we should have borders? And he gets shot? This changes everything. You can say both sides if you're talking about presidents. Yeah. You can't say both sides, that both sides go out into public with the same level of fear as non-office holding citizens expressing an opinion. And now they're saying this is really just shows we need to bring down the temperature. Oh, really? After the bullets fly? After the bullets fly? I tell you, the temperature can be brought down when you uncall us Nazis. When you uncall us. Make sure that everyone out there who believes your bullshit, genocidal maniacs trying to erase trans people, when you unring that bell, then we can talk about bringing down the temperature. But right now, someone with opinions that up until 4 years ago, give or take, would be offensive to nobody, is shot. And because economic policy, his kids don't deserve to have a dad? Because he doesn't think that kids should be given puberty blockers? And because he has the balls to go out and say it in public as opposed to from behind a news desk? Now, this is
running out, and then that's when I took cover.
All right, let's bring in Sage Steele, who was set to speak at a conference.
A changing moment, because that could be, it could be any of us on a laundry list of people. And so the culture now, and this is what really sucks, it's terrorism. It's, do you want to go out and try and change hearts and minds? Do you want to affect the country? Do you want to have an impact? Do you want to enough to not leave your children fatherless? How much do you want to express that people should have the right to free speech? How much do you want to? Because you just may get shot. You know what else? It's not, I hate to speak this, but it's, you think this stops here? Do you think this stops here? I see people online say, oh, I wish the bullet a happy day. Shit like that. You think this stops here? It's very clear that this is what, and not only is it a clear sign of what's to come, the response makes it even clearer. Because the response is both sides, man. Tell you what, when you can unring the bell of calling us and Charlie Kirk, calling everyone on this side of the political spectrum a Nazi, a fascist, a racist, a transphobe, a homophobe, a threat to democracy, the biggest domestic terror threat that exists, white, straight, conservative males. Until you can unring that bell, there's no calming it down. There's no, let's let these temperatures simmer, because the bullets were fired on your command, not ours, on your command. So until you unring that bell, I say supreme, unfettered aggressivity. The only language that these people, meaning radical leftists and, yeah, a lot of the media speak, is fear and violence. That's the only language they speak. We don't burn down cities, and of course we shouldn't start. Let's let temperatures cool? No. No, because if we all do that, you get away with it. God forbid those. I don't even want to say. Charlie, at best, a life-altering injury, and you can say, yeah, but then afterwards we realized. No, you knew before, you know now, and now so do we. And it is going to be painful, and it should be for the people who put us in this place.
Can I co-sign that? Can I put an underscore to that? It is going to be painful, and yeah, so it's going to be even more painful. I do have a report, but I from a very reliable source. SV just sent me something, but I choose not to post it because I don't know who's got the right information. I don't know. I mean, I'm seeing conflicting stories. Wow, I've gotten chills. I'm getting chills on my arm because well, you know what I'm holding back, because somebody has confirmed that the ultimate bad news, but I haven't seen it. And wow, I'm actually getting chills even talking about it. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until we see a somebody of authority walk out and say it. I want to see a university president, a police officer, somebody of authority come out and give us the real news, because now there's something spreading all over the place. And I'm sure that's what Fox is waiting for. I'm sure that's what everybody is waiting for, something official. I don't know who's saying this. Let me see if anything on Turning TP USA is saying anything. But normally a very reliable source that I follow a lot on X is giving some seriously bad news. Let me see. I don't see anything here. 1 second. No, I don't see anything on TP USA, so I don't know. Don't know. SV, thank you for the information, but I'm not going to confirm it. Let me look around.
No, Charlie, forget about his politics. Forget about what he stands for in that way. He is a good, incredible Christian man who loves his wife and loves his kids and wants all of us to do the same and be vocal about that and bring families back in this country. Is that so bad?
Right.
I don't know where to go forward from today. And I think that's okay, that we don't all have the answers right now. Like, we all have to really think deeply about this. I thought it was already as bad as it could get. Apparently not.
I think it is okay. I think it is okay, Sage. And, you know, I appreciate you pointing out that the man that has been vilified by many who disagree with him neglect to understand the quality of the human being that is Charlie Kirk. Set aside whatever he stands for in his political beliefs, but the actual man is a good man. And I think that goodness is revealed in his willingness to engage, his excitement to engage with those who disagree, Sage. He's gone on Gavin Newsom's podcast, and it's no small bit of symbolism that the event he was at today was designed in many ways to bring on people who disagree with him. Prove me you're wrong. Prove me I'm wrong. You know, that he's done over and over again. And the rebuttal, at least in this case, has been a gunshot.
When I have watched him over the last couple of years, with his social media presence growing as he goes on to college campuses, which started with just small conversations have turned into this with thousands of people. The way he does it is beautiful. You might not like his answers. You might not like to face the facts that Charlie Kirk puts out there, but he does not scream and yell. He doesn't silence people. He allows them to have a microphone and have a voice and then responds. He is doing what we all should be doing, which is having a conversation, listening, and then responding. Charlie Kirk has done it the right way from day one. He has made this country better because he encourages conversation and then comes back with his facts and in some cases opinions. He's done it the right way.
I don't know who's orchestrating things on the left right now, but it's not God.
My sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence.
President Trump and January 6th. President Trump and January 6th, says Pritzker. These people really try my Christianity. I don't like wishing ill on anybody, but January 6th and Trump. I cannot confirm what you guys are saying, and so it will not come out my mouth until I hear it from a very viable source. So you guys can listen to whoever you want in terms of saying that, but I'm not going to be that person.
College campus there for one of his Turning Point USA events. Thousands of kids gathered in Utah to watch, as they are often done in colleges across this country. According to the New York Times, the man taken into custody earlier today in Utah was not actually the shooter, according to the university.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
Well, there's no more definitive source than President Trump. President Trump at this point has posted, this is tough. This is really tough. 3 minutes ago, the great and legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. He is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. That was posted, as you can see, at 4:40 p.m., 5 minutes ago. President Trump posted that. I have not seen it on any other news wire, but I can take that as the fact. That allows me to now make the statement that Charlie Kirk has died. Wow. Wow.
The heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and his family. Charlie, we love you. Charlie Kirk, according to the President of the United States, is dead. I don't really know where you go from here. I don't know where we go from here in a news program, and I don't know where we go from here in America. I don't know what's left for us as a country to discuss when even a discussion and a debate over the issues results in violence that leads to the death of a good man in this country. I believe Greg is still on the phone with us now. Greg, who served with Charlie for 7 years at Turning Point USA in a security detail. Before we go back into our conversation, Greg, I would just love to get your reaction.
I have no words to describe what I'm feeling right now. My heart and my prayers go out to Erica and their 2 beautiful children and the entire TP USA family. He has such a great staff of young 20-year-olds running that multi-million-dollar Turning Point USA organization, and they're all just salt of the earth, wonderful, patriotic American kids. And you know, I first joined Charlie in 2015 after I retired from the FBI after 20-some odd years, and was the first security director for Turning Point USA. And our events then, you know, were 200 to 300 kids when initially started. And then by the time I left in 2022, you know, we were having events of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 students. He was a force to be reckoned with. What he did for the young people of this nation in getting them rallied around the conservative movement and to speak out against wokeism and to speak out against, you know, communism. You know, he would have kids from Venezuela that he would talk about and talk with, and how horrible communism is, to get the young people who are on college campuses thinking communism is the next greatest thing, and he would refute that. And he did it with love and compassion. And again, those 7 years with Charlie, they were magnificent. To watch the growth of that organization was a sheer joy and an honor. I met so many amazing people through the Turning Point USA organization. And again, my heart just goes out to Erica and the 2 kids, and just God bless them. Give her peace. I know she is a true believer, as was Charlie, and I know that gives her some peace. But we lost an American icon today.
I agree, Greg. As a man you knew for 7 years and worked for him, I'm sorry for your loss, Greg. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I just mentioned, Charlie Kirk has died at a hospital in Utah. At the risk of sounding repetitive, Charlie Kirk was an incredible man. Charlie Kirk was a good friend, not just to me, for anyone who holds a microphone and anyone involved in politics, anyone he came into contact with. You'll hear it repeated on numerous occasions that Charlie Kirk was my friend. And that doesn't make any one of us unique. It makes Charlie Kirk unique, because every single one of us would get a text, would get a direct message, would get a call from Charlie, encouraging us, congratulating us, complimenting a conversation or a segment. In a business that is full of ego, in a business that is full of competition, Charlie Kirk was a true friend. Charlie Kirk was also a major, influential presence in the United States of America, who's already been described by the President of the United States as legendary. No one has marshaled the youth in this country in my lifetime in the way of Charlie Kirk. Whether or not it's my children, who I will talk to tonight when I go home, 2 young boys, teenagers, who know Charlie Kirk, who listen to Charlie Kirk, or the kids that I meet on college campuses before Big Noon kickoff on Fox Sports at Ohio State, who want to ask me about Charlie Kirk. In the thousands and tens of thousands across this country, from college campus to college campus, Charlie Kirk has been a major influence on the young people of this country. But his influence didn't stop on college campuses. Charlie Kirk's influence extended to the heights of power in the United States of America. A personal friend, I know, to the Secretary of War, to the Secretary of State, to the Vice President of the United States, to the President of the United States. Charlie Kirk's influence literally knew no bounds, and he changed America for the better. For those that hate and those that disagree and that can find no other way to respond but with violence. You did nothing today but to point out the important influence and the great man that was Charlie Kirk. Let's bring in Fox News senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich with reaction from the White House now. Jackie?
Yeah, well, we are digesting the news the same as you. The confirmation from the president that Charlie Kirk has passed away, really just putting a finer point on the concern and worry that had been sort of settling in here at the White House for the last hour or so before this news came out. I went upstairs to the press area to see if we would be getting any updates from officials after we'd been told earlier that the Secret Service, that the Situation Room and the National Security Advisor were monitoring the situation, and then got a lot of silence from there, and the worry sort of began to creep in. We've been told by the Secret Service that they are not able to give us an update on any security posture changes that might be happening for the president in light of this act of political violence. Obviously, a concern for everyone here who are going to go home tonight thinking about this, their friend who has lost his life as a result of the political violence in this country. That was the message that Charlie Kirk shared on his last post on X to that effect, that you have to talk about those things in political terms or else it's not going to change. That was his message. And I think that in the coming days we'll be doing some reflecting on that. As far as any information on what we might be seeing tonight in terms of flags coming down, or any other displays, we'll certainly keep you updated on that. But this is just developing news. And I'll also note that, you know, the mention from President Trump of Charlie no longer being with us, calling him a legend and someone who's dear and admired by him and everybody else, is notable. You know, President Trump had 2 attempts on his life. And so that is something I'm sure hits very close to him as well. We will continue to bring you any more information, but the outpourings of just sadness and sympathy and also outrage that this could happen, we're seeing that come in real time. Will.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. I want to go now to political commentator and college freshman Brillen Hollyhand, and he is a close friend of Charlie, and he's been in touch with the Kirk family all day long. Brillen,
if that news isn't bad enough, let me add some salt into the wound. There is no suspect in custody. The guy that they arrested was, I guess, just some other loon. It says, Justin, no suspect is in custody at this moment in the Charlie Kirk assassination, according to Utah Valley University spokesperson Eleanor Traynor. The university says Kirk was shot from the university's Low C Center 200 yards away. A sniper shot. The police have determined that a person who was taken into custody after the shooting was not actually the shooter, according to Scott Trotter, a university spokesman. The university had earlier said the suspect was in custody, but that is not the case. So Charlie Kirk is gone. And I don't know where, as a nation, we even go from here. But I think it's going to be bad. I think people finally have had enough. Up to here. I know I have. I'm pretty sure you have. You know, tomorrow is September 11th. And will be 24 years since the tragedy at September 11th. So people are going to be trying to focus on what happened 24 years ago that changed our country. And then this one, you know, we had July 13th, and this here has to change people. I have no doubt at this point people are going to realize and accept the fact that we cannot look at these people with any sort of, I don't even know, conjugality. I want nothing to do with people who we're going to see over the next couple of days are going to be nuts saying it's Trump's fault. It's January 6th's fault. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. I have no patience for them. And I got to go and spend some time with the wife, so I'll be here a little bit longer. But I know what we're going to be doing in addition to praying is start planning what we're going to do. What are you going to buy? Make sure you're ready. And then still be some people who are complete pacifists and say, don't react in a bad way. I wish somebody would tell me, how am I supposed to react? How are you supposed to react after what you've seen in the last 7 days? I had an entire show planned that's still in the can, but one of the parts of the show let me show you the first 2 minutes of what I was going to show you that lead off my show. I want you to see this. This is just the first 2 minutes. Watch this.
30-day emergency order in D.C. is set to expire later today. That's unless Congress extends it. So Trump actually came face-to-face with protesters as he celebrated the takeover with a night out. Here's what they were saying to him.
You tell me how these people got within 20 or 30 feet of the President of the United States, and nobody checked them. They walked right into a restaurant where he was with Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, the entire top of our government was having dinner here, and these morons were able to walk freely into the restaurant and nobody stopped them. I don't know if you've seen this. It's insane.
Actually haven't seen someone kind of yelling the Free Palestine at a president since Biden. I thought that was sort of an interesting moment. This was inside a seafood restaurant near the White House. Trump went there to have dinner. You can hear them yelling Free DC, Free Palestine. And also Trump is the Hitler of our time. So dining with the president was Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The president is declaring that D.C. is now a safe place to go out.
The restaurants now are booming. People are going out to dinner where they didn't go out for years, and it's a safe city. And I just want to thank the National Guard. We loved working with the mayor and the chief, and we all work together, and the outcome is really spectacular. We have a capital that's very, very safe.
Well, I think what's important is that this.
Explain to me how these nuts were that close to the President of the United States. They just barged into the restaurant. They could have been carrying guns. They could have been carrying bombs. They could have been carrying chemicals. Anything. And they were within literally 15 to 20 feet of him. Completely unvetted. How does that happen? The start of my show is going to be, as you saw, it was going to be about the security breach for President Trump that nobody's talking about today. And I just said to myself, how did that happen? How did they get... I want to show you this part of it too, because this part of what I was going to show you was probably quite impressive. And it shows you the type of guy President Trump is. Instead of cowering, instead of running away, he turned and confronted them. And he knew none of them were vetted. He knew none of them have been checked by the Secret Service, and he did not run, which is so important right now. Watch this.
Enjoy your dinner.
He left his table, got up, and walked towards them. Look, you can see he is literally 15 feet away from these nuts. He didn't back down an inch. That's what I was going to begin the show with before this all happened. What do we got here? Before this all happened, this is what I was going to begin the show with. And little did I know we would be diverting to something much worse. But how did that happen? How did these nuts Number one, how'd they know he was going? Nobody knew where he was going. If you guys were watching the show yesterday, he was supposed to be signing a proclamation at 4:30 and coming on camera, and he didn't. And all of a sudden, we got notification that the motorcade was en route somewhere undisclosed. And then they go outside and they block off all the streets so he can walk into the restaurant safely. And these nuts run in. And as you saw, he's standing there. Where was the Secret Service? How were they not tackling either him or all those nuts? It chilled me then, and it's chilling me even more watching this. This is absolute insanity that those people got that close to the President of the United States. So, yeah, pray for him. What do we got here? I guess this Fox is doing another tribute.
Area of the campus, a sort of amphitheater, buildings facing him about 100 to 200 yards away. He was addressing a crowd that looked to be up to a couple of thousand strong. He had been handing out baseball caps, smiling with the crowd, talking to those who had come to eagerly see him and listen to his words. And then in video we have seen, but are not showing for very obvious reasons, you hear as after Charlie Kirk sits down behind a desk underneath that small tent, you hear a single shot ring out. It appears to be from some sort of high-powered rifle, clearly shot from a distance. And then in one particularly gruesome video, you can see the bullet strike Charlie Kirk. It appears to hit him directly in the neck. You see a gush of blood, and then obviously, as you can imagine, the crowd running in every direction, absolutely terrified. We have seen pictures of Charlie Kirk then being carried away by people to be who appear to be security guards not in uniform. There are obviously going to be questions about the security that was in place there, but this was, as Jason Chaffetz was saying, who was there on scene, an outdoor event in a conservative part of a conservative state. It's a very crime-free city, Orem. I know it well personally from family connections there. And nobody expected anything like this. It is a dreadful scene there now. The shooter appears to still be on the run at this point. Somebody was taken into custody earlier. We saw that on video. Appeared to be a more elderly gentleman. As we understand it, Dana, that man has now been released from custody and had nothing whatsoever to do with the shooting. So there is obviously very much now an urgent manhunt underway to find whoever carried out this shooting. And from the way it played out, the way it was set up, Dana, you have to think that this was very much planned and carried out by somebody very familiar with and competent with the use of a high-powered rifle. The ultimate outcome of all of this, Charlie Kirk dead at 31. Dana?
Thank you, Jonathan. And so we cover a lot of events here, and many of them don't touch us personally, but this one does. Charlie was a giant human, especially to me, one of the tallest people I've ever been around, but a huge heart, and what an impact. Kennedy and I just saw earlier in the green room, you know, he was born in 1993, and you have to take, if you're our age, you think about that and like the impact that this young man had. And this shooting is a watershed moment for our country. And I believe, and I think my colleagues here will agree, the nation needs a circuit breaker. This is unacceptable. It's so tragic. And he touched a lot of people and a lot of people's hearts. You're going to hear a lot about more about that in the next hour and in the coming hours here on Fox News. His first television hit, Greg Gutfeld, was Fox and Friends in 2012, believe it or not. So we've known the young man for a long time, and may he rest in peace.
Yeah, he's. I've known him for probably 10 years. I mean, it's hard to gather your thoughts beyond just horror. So instead, I mean, you know, Charlie was such a force of nature. He was brilliant and he was funny. But what scared people was his persuasiveness. The only way to take him down, because he could persuade you so strongly, was to kill him. You know, and the shock and despair that we are feeling, and I mean we as in shared by everyone at home and around this table and in this building, it's a testament to the impact of Charlie's friendship and his bravery and his character. And it's so deep a wound that we all feel. It's because it feels like he's one of us. He's part of us because he was such genuinely a patriot and a great person. So how do you work through this stuff? You know, it's not about him or me, it's us, the viewers. You are us. What do we do? Well, you still do what you always do, but you do more of it. You stand up, you speak up, and you share the risk. Right now, you are recoiling, but you have to come back and return stronger, more fortified, and more resilient. What is ironic, fittingly, I guess, is that this is a turning point. You know, if you believe in Charlie, you got to believe in yourself because he believed in you. You know, this isn't over. This is the beginning. And Charlie's power just got released in all of us. He's going to be bigger now than he ever was on this chaotic planet. He made us all bigger. So I think that if you're at home and you're feeling bad, don't just get through it. And remember that he would want you to get stronger and not back down.
Jesse, before I go to you, President Trump has announced that the flags will fly at half-mast for Charlie Kirk until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. I know you knew him well, too.
Yeah, we're sick, we're sad, we're angry, and we're resolute. And we're going to avenge Charlie's death in the way Charlie would want it to be avenged. He was such a beautiful boy. He was an American boy. And he was incredibly positive. He was full of energy and life, and he made politics fun. You see it at his events when things blow up and the music plays, and we haven't had that in a very long time in this country. Every time he did a hit on my show, he would text me afterwards, "Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate having you on."
Yep.
And my daughter loved him. I mean, she's 13 years old. This is a man who touched an entire generation of Americans and electrified them and made them patriots. And this is not a controversial person. This is not a polarizing guy, a divisive person, a firebrand that he's being described as in the media. This is like a guy that you have a barbecue with at your summer house. This is the kind of guy, if you came back with your daughter, you'd say, "Thank God, we got a good one." He's a great athlete. He's a great person. He's a great Christian. You see his family out there. He had his kids not facing the photos because he wanted to protect them, because he knew how evil people were. So when he goes out to these college campuses, he's not provoking anybody. He's like Socrates. He asks questions, and he does it with a smile. And there's nothing controversial about saying socialism is worse than capitalism. Men and women are different. Let's put America first, because that's all he was about, putting America first. And as Greg said, this hits differently because Charlie was one of us. And Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to his neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars. They just shot 2 Jews outside the embassy. Think about it. Scalise got shot, barely survived. It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got riots in LA. They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask ourselves. Now, Charlie would want us to put as much pressure on these people as possible. Dana nailed it. This is unacceptable and has to stop. And it has to stop now. And everybody's accountable. And we're watching what they're saying on television and who's saying what. The politicians, and the media, and all of these rats out there. This can never happen again. It ends now. Greg's right again. This is a turning point, and we know which direction we're going.
Turning point used so appropriately there. This is also in Joe Biden has posted on X a statement. He said, there is no place in our country for this kind of violence. It must end now. Jill and I are praying for Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones. Sure to have many more of these statements to come through. Harold, you also knew Charlie Kirk.
I met Charlie a few times. First off, my condolences and prayers to his family. This is a young dad. The kind of pain that his wife has to be experiencing as she is channeling her own kids. She should know she'll be lifted in my family's prayers tonight. You all have said it. This is horrifying. It's profoundly sad. A 31, 32-year-old young man. I know he was born in 1993. I don't know.
Let me jump from that. I've got a video of Governor Ron DeSantis down here in Florida who was holding an event, and he stopped what he was doing to say some words about Charlie.
A comment on the shooting in Utah involving Charlie Kirk. A lot of people in Florida have known Charlie through the years. Casey and I have gotten to know him for over a decade, and he's somebody that a lot of people have a great regard for. He's done a lot, and he was shot apparently in a targeted way. And so we're praying for him and his family, but I think we also have to reflect on the fact that the way to resolve political disputes is not through violence, and we see increasing levels of political violence in this country. Charlie would go to college campuses and he would articulate views that were very much outside of what most of the professors were offering or what the campus culture was offering. And the way to do that is to ask questions, debate. That's what the Republic is based on. And what happened today, was not just an attack on Charlie personally, but really an attack on the idea that we resolve these things through reasoned debate and elections. And so Casey and I are praying for him and his family, and this is not what we want for our country going.
It's an understatement, yeah, not what we want for our country. That obviously was before he got the news that he had passed. Everybody, I could go through, there's just hundreds of posts. Ben Shapiro has posted something very strong. Attorney General Pam Bondi says FBI and ATF agents are on the scene. That was before he obviously was declared dead. Dan Bongino said, may God rest your heroic and patriotic soul. Mark Levin said it is unbelievable, horrendous, assassinated on a college campus. There's no words that anybody on television, or myself included, are going to be able to provide you. At this point, it's going to take you looking in a mirror, praying, talking amongst your family, and figuring out where we go from here. What do we do? What do we do individually? What do we do as a family? What do we do as a country? Are we finally at a point where we are going to have an overwhelming consortium of people who are saying, enough, we're done with you? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, what is it going to take for the masses, including people on the left, to jump over and go, that's it, we're done with the craziness. I understand freedom of speech and all that. That's fine. We're not going to stop people from calling people racist and Nazis and fascists. You can't stop the loons. But what you can do is shout them down. What you can do is, when you see somebody say something like that, make noise. Respond. That is not acceptable. Use your right of free speech to combat their idiocy. No longer can we say, I don't even want to hear from them. Nope. Whatever corner of the globe you're in at this point, you see what's going on in France and some of these other countries, you need to put your flag in the ground and start fighting back. And if you're older and you're thinking, I can't get in the fight, yes, you can. You're watching this video, you can do this. You don't have to say nasty words. You don't have to get yourself in a position where you might get banned, but you sure enough can say, sit down and STFU. Nobody wants to hear your rhetoric. We're done. Overwhelm their feeds. Tell other people, hey, if you see what Jasmine Crockett said, get in there. You see what AOC said, get in there. No more excuses. None. You can no longer say, I don't pay any attention to that. You better. You had better begin paying attention to it. Many people in the chat, Barry, stop talking about them because, I don't listen to anything they say. You better now. There's been a reason the entire time I've been doing this show. There has been a reason why I keep showing you the liberal media. Because I've mentioned to you before, as a football player, I always needed to watch the film of my opponent. I needed to know everything that my opponent was doing. I had to understand it before they did. If he ate something for dinner, I could tell you what his poop was going to smell like. I did the work. I put in the time. At this point, if you're saying, I don't want to see what they have to say, then you might as well join them. We need everybody rowing on this boat. Not a few in the bleachers. Everybody has to be in the boat rowing this thing. Because we're close to losing it. And who was it, Jesse, or was it Greg that just said, this isn't the end? Might have been Will. It's not the end. Don't think for an instant that they're going, you know what? That was pretty bad. All right, maybe we should back off. Hell no. Watch. Look what they say. Again, you're going to have to watch. Look what your enemy, because they are now, you cannot even look away and say they're no longer the enemy. These people are your enemy. And if you think they're going to back off the gas pedal, no, they want to rev it up. Do it again. Who's next? Greg? Jesse? Hannity? Me? Benny? Patrick Bet-David? Who's next? I got, let's see, I got a text from Ashley. I got a text from Robin. Like, you good? I'm good. But you know what? I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better protected. I'm going to protect my wife. I'm going to protect everything around me. And then I'm going to protect this country. See, do your self-protection first. Do whatever you need to do to make sure your family is protected. And then reach out to other people and say, all right, you ready? You ready? Okay. Because there's no turning back at this point. It's funny that those guys said it because it was so interesting to me. It is a turning point. We thought July 13th was it. It didn't succeed. They succeeded today. But I'm going to turn around and say they failed today. They absolutely failed. This is a moment. This is a turning point. This is a Paul Revere. All wrapped up in one. They failed because the failure of what they did today was that hopefully it woke up tens of millions of people and realized at this point, if you don't want to be a victim, you better start. And I'm not talking about lashing out. I am not telling anybody to go lash out. I'm just saying use your voice. Make sure you get everybody to the polls. Make sure you're diligent in your surroundings. Be situationally aware wherever you go, and do whatever you can to use that one thing that doesn't cost you anything, your voice and your fingers. I'm not asking anybody to go out there and be vengeance, but I'm asking you, if you see vengeance, if you see something, keep your vengeance ready. Keep it ripe. Make it be a scab right there. You're on a train, you're on a bus, you're in a grocery store, you're in a department store, you're at a ball game, and you see somebody being attacked, don't whip out your phone. They're coming for us. I know they are. You see now they are. Somebody somewhere, or some people, thought to themselves, hey, Charlie's going to be at this event. Oh, so we know exactly where he's going to be, on what day, pretty much we know what time, and we'll go ahead and scout this out, and when he starts talking, we'll take him out. great, beautiful day on a campus in Utah. Charlie was just having fun, talking to people like he always talks to. And somebody said, here's my shot. Here's my opportunity. I bet you I could. And so what I'm telling you right now, when you're walking around, there may be somebody who's looking and saying, I could. I don't mean to scare you. I mean to make you aware. I mean, what was the Andrew Breitbart clip that was, war? I can't. I don't have the words to tell you at this point. Nick Sortor posted this, and he says, I knew Charlie Kirk well enough to know exactly how he would tell us to handle this situation. Fight. Fight, fight. Evil leftists want us to be terrorized and deflated. Don't let Charlie's passing make you back down. Use it to fuel you. That's what Charlie would want. You know, ordinarily, like I said earlier, plus I'm here, I couldn't show you the video. I'm going to tell you something right now. I want you to sit down, pray, roll your sleeves up, and hit the button and watch that video. Oh, Barry, it's horrible. Watch the damn video. No excuses. It's horrendous. It'll make you cry. It may make you throw up. May make you run to the bathroom and void. But watch the damn video. Why am I saying watch that video? Because you need to know what these people are capable of and what they want to do to us. And once you see that video, which earlier I was like, I can't show this. I can't show it. It's so bad. It'll give people nightmares. Well, now you need to have the nightmares and pray about the nightmares. Because we are surrounded by these people who want this to be done. Watch the damn video. Bring your husband, bring your wife, do whatever you need to do. Get together, pray, and say, God, give me the strength to watch this and understand what we're up against. And then watch it. Because maybe that'll snap people who aren't ready to let them understand you need to be ready. This guy was just, if I were to summarize it for you, it's a beautiful sunny day. There's thousands of kids out there, and Charlie's just sitting there with a microphone, unarmed, completely defenseless, and something rings out from this direction. And as I told you, as I watched it, I could tell it was a neck shot, and I could tell that was probably an exit wound. And it just blew out. And I was like, I don't know how anybody could survive that, but I'm not a doctor. I'm like, maybe they can. And then people saying they were stabilized and all these. I'm like, wow, they must be some really good doctors. Watch it. Don't look away. It's going to hurt. But as you watch it, you're like, or say to yourself, I can't watch that. It's going to make me, it's going to make me just crazy. Or it's going to make me hurt so much. Imagine what his wife is thinking. Imagine that his wife has to see that, or his kids have seen it, or somebody has seen it, and how they feel. Well, that's what you guys are all here for. That's what you guys are here for. And the thing is, it could have been any of us. Mike Johnson from the House did something really nice. The House came out and did a moment of silence on the House floor. Let me play you what Mike Johnson had to say when he came to the mic. But yeah, watch the video. You really should. Hold on, let me download it and bring it in. Hold on. 1 second. All right.
We just want to make a brief statement here, and I'm going to go and ask my colleagues to join me in a moment of silence for our dear friend Charlie Kirk. We ask everyone to pray for him and his family. I'm just going to state the obvious here. This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are. It violates the core principles of our country. our Judeo-Christian heritage, our civil society, our American way of life, and it must stop. We need every political figure, we need everyone who has a platform to say this loudly and clearly. We can settle disagreements and disputes in a civil manner, and political violence must be called out, and it has to stop. Again, we ask for prayer. I'm going to go lead the chamber here in a moment of silence, and we hope for the best for Charlie. Thank you.
Speaker of the House, this is just so bad. Let me take some comments from some of you guys, because this is bad. Yep, Frank the Tank NYC, damn shame. But he didn't see here. No, come on, people. We all knew. You didn't have to tell anybody. I said I was waiting until it got confirmed. That's what. Yeah, I guess some of you guys are talking is you're far behind. So that's why. Mike Johnson has a very sad look on his face. Yeah. Political violence, wars throughout history have been fought over religion and politics. What? Wow, some of you guys are just evil. You know what? I can't take these trolls, and without calling some of these people out that are absolute nuts, I'm just going to go hug my wife and say a prayer with her. She's hurting with it. And talk to Ashley and just call it a day, because the evil that's out there is beyond. It's more than I can understand how people would be like this. It's crazy. It's crazy watching some of the stuff in the chat. And I don't understand how people can be this way. And so I pray for your souls, because you're lost. The ones of you in the chat are trying to stir up stuff. I don't know who sent you. I don't know if you're being paid, but you're lost. But worse than being lost, we don't give a shit anymore. You're not going to upset us. You're no longer going to be that, thing under our foot that's going to give us problems. Now we need to just stomp you out. I don't mean physically. We just need to make sure you people are irrelevant, insignificant. SV had to go to a family dinner, otherwise he'd be beep, 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 and deleting all of you. We're done with you. We're done playing. Taking no prisoners, and don't expect any mercy at this point. You're done. You're absolutely done. So sick of these people who are going to find delight in somebody else's death. I can tell you one thing. As much as Charlie was a conservative who had conservative values, he never wished death on Hillary or Obama or Brennan or Kamala or Biden. See, that's where the difference is. We can tell people we don't support you without feeling we have to eliminate you. When Biden became president, most of us just, all right, we got to accept it. When Obama became president, we got to accept it. The Democrats only want chaos. They only want to tear down. They want nothing good for this country. And so if you're aligned with that, you deserve to be crushed. All right, so I normally play the 30-minute after party. I'll leave that. We'll play it. There's probably people who want to talk. I'm done. I can't imagine what has happened. And like the other hosts on the other networks who've moved from their hour was up and they were gone, I could literally sit here for all night. But I'm done. I'm done. So we'll talk tomorrow, and that's the one thing we can count on. Tomorrow's another day. Pray for Charlie Kirk, his family, and pray for America, and pray for each other. bad. SV's not here to remind me, and so I forgot. It's one of those days where you don't even remember certain things, and I didn't even think about the super chats, and because it just happened. But I had to jump back in here and acknowledge people because I saw a couple of the chats, and I'm like, oh, Barry, you forgot? Yeah, I forgot. Tells you how upset I am right now. I'm just like totally upset with what's going on right now. All right, let me read these to you guys right now. Okay, Charlie Kirk is wounded in the neck. Can you find out? Well, we already know that. Hannity posted, yes. Mama Mima. As you guys, as I'm reading this, understand over the past 3 hours, 2.5 hours, some people are coming in at certain times and they're not seeing all of the new news. So some of these chats may be timed out. Mama Mima spoke to my sister. My niece was at the event. Oh, pray for her. Hope she didn't see it. Al Phelps, I believe Monica and Reagan need to be careful as well. Yeah, anybody who's out here with a voice. Native South Florida, the shooter was not a student. Older white man was arrested, but he ended up not being the shooter. Ward Furtuck, Canada, sending prayers to Charlie. This Canadian loves you, America. Tommy Radcliffe, what was one of our generals for righteousness. They've done it to one too many good people. I'm in tears, praying Christ. Absolutely, Tommy. Native South Florida, the left will stop at nothing to start a war in the streets of America. No matter what, we can't let them destroy us. Absolutely. Nanette Allen, in Utah, the Mormon Church influence rules. They believe in the wrong Jesus. Joseph Smith, Jesus Christ is Lord. Penny Corridor, if we gave up our guns, the only people that would have guns would be like the nut who shot Charlie. As much as I've heard Charlie speak, I know he would not want gun control to be the solution. That's not the solution. Favaski, this is not a dream. Nightmare may be a better word. Agreed. Job for 9, hold the media accountable. Yes. Nanette, thank you. Raven Kirkendall, Barry, can we take a minute to pray together? Yes, we did. I'm not sure when you posted that, but for sure. And we will again, very shortly. Starfleet, Lord Jesus, hear swiftly by your power, restore strength, peace, and wholeness, that your name be glorified. Amen. Well, that's good for Raven right there. Pray it. Say that. Say that to each other. Jen V, I don't want to hear about newcomers' children being separated from their criminal fathers. That picture of Charlie with his daughter broke my heart. Yep, he's gone. Darren Engel, you see what the MSNBC is already saying? Yes, I have. I played it. This might be a little bit older. Lines have been drawn. Barry has said we're already in a civil war. I've been telling you that for a while. I've been telling you that for quite some time. Whew. Ken Romolino, we all need to stand up to fill the void of Charlie's voice. We can't let this make us quiet and hide. Exactly. We are all Charlie. Somebody makes me to make a t-shirt. I am Charlie. Nanette Allen, thank you. FL, what Satan meant for evil, God is going to turn this around for Charlie's good. God raised me from the dead and gave me, oh, very nice. Very nice, FL. An awesome testimony. Deb Blank, the Democrats and media are Satan's minions. Christians, our country and world are under attack. Stand strong. And just realize it's not over. It is going to keep happening until we can figure out a way to deal with these people. Mama Mima, Father, I pray for divine intervention as a testament of your almighty power. As I'm reading these, understand these are prayers people are putting out. So when the earlier gentleman said, can say some prayers? Yes, we're saying them right now. Peaceful Haven, Barry, a Kent State moment right before our very eyes. Loretta, MSNBC is disgusting. They offer no prayer. No, they have no concern. Nanette, again, thank you. Just another knucklehead, sickening about Charlie. I find myself forgetting at him while I get outraged at what the libs and dems are saying and acting. It diminished the attack and how they're reporting. It is. Hal, stay safe, Barry, and all fans. Keep your eyes open. Think about your family members and prayers to you all. Absolutely. Tania, Barry, there are no words. God help us. I'm telling you, I've been on for 2.5 hours right now, and thank God Fox had some stuff and people were posting, because I had to pray and go, how do I do this? I don't have a show prepared. This just happened. Clayton Taylor, we all need to pick up the flag. Absolutely. Absolutely. Judith Swanson, thank you and thank you. Robert Gallant, I am so angry and so hurt. I am sending out a big hug in spirit to the entire Fanfare family. God will embrace Charlie with open arms. He indeed will. Deb Blank, thank you. Tough. Caleb McIntosh, Barry, we have to figure out who the shooter was. How do I say this? Do you remember, I don't know if you saw the movie The Godfather. And in the movie The Godfather, when they took a shot at Michael Corleone, and after they didn't succeed, I think it was Tom who ran in the bedroom and said, if what I think happened tonight happened, you're not going to find the shooter. They're going to be dead someplace. And the way this was carried out, almost eerily similar to what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. 200 yards away, high-profile rifle, obviously scouted out. I don't think this is a kid. I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but something tells me there's more to this, and I couldn't imagine. Ann Bass, thank you for sharing the truth. Charmaine Rondon, Barry, Robin, Ashley, mods, please stay safe. Absolutely. Tina Young, liberalism is a mental illness. Ozark Ghost Hunter, to Kamala Harris, the entire Democrat Party, and those who supported and encourage all this rhetoric, you are responsible for today. You don't get to be sorry. You don't get to call for no violence. Yeah, you're right. Don't want to hear it. Dale Phillips, suspend habeas corpus, declare martial law. Let me give you the clap up on that one. At this point, roll the troops. Roll them. Ignore Pritzker, ignore Michelle Wu, ignore Wes Moore, ignore Newsom. Roll the troops. Take this country back. God bless America. Some sicko posted on TikTok and Facebook the video close-up of him being shot. His poor family. Yep, it's pretty bad. When I saw that, I'm like, I don't know how any human could survive what I just saw. And obviously they held, he was probably, I don't know. But when people were saying he's stabilized, I was like, how do you stabilize that? Yvonne Berger, martial law means they can come take your pew-pews. No. I don't think President Trump would do that at all. Favosky, they would. From Ginny and me. Thank you, Ginny and Favosky. David Music, my God, overshadow you, Barry, Rob, and Ashley, and all Fanfare. Charlie and family. God, thank you. Jonas Verhage, how much more are we going to accept from the left? Turning point. I wonder if he ever thought when he named his company that it would be so prophetic. Michael Smith, follow the money, you will find the real people behind it. Exactly. Tim McCurry, Charlie received his crown today. He fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept his faith. God give us strength, protect your people, and save USA. Well said. Mr. Pug's mom, I thank you. I feel like I've lost a son. Yeah. I never met him, but hit me. Carson, thank you. Jeanette, no federal funding for any college. None. Stealth Blue, they made a mistake taking Charlie. MAGA's got to stand up. Yeah. And he has such a big organization. Yes. Joyce Taylor, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Psalm 139. Thank you for that. Nicola de Astis, be strong, Barry. You are a voice and a pillar for God. Thank you very much. I will be. And Vielka, Bongino warned us about the Secret Service director. Yeah, as chilling as watching what happened to Charlie, I was chilled watching these people walk into this restaurant where President Trump was. And at this point, we can't take anything for granted. Nothing. Be safe. Be safe and pray. We'll talk tomorrow. Where am I?